Hello, pet enthusiasts. My name is Jason Zakowski. I'm the dog dad of Bunsen, Beaker, and Bernoulli, the science dogs of social media. My co-hostess with the mostest is...
Hi there, I'm Chris Zakowski. I am the dog mom to Bunsen, Beaker, and Bernoulli, and the cat mom to Ginger.
Every week on Saturday evening, we bring together the community that follows us on social media. All right. So if you've never been to Pet Chat before, or if you have, Chris and I usually share some of the top stories of the weeks with the animals, and then we get to community sharing and we answer questions. So if you're watching live on Instagram, we'll get to some of your questions right away. And if you're waiting to speak, we'll get you up after that point. Do you want to start with the story from this week, Chris, or do you want me to?
So on Sunday was a very exciting day. It was awesome because we had planned a visit with Marla. Mm-hmm. And I had said, hey, so let's hit the rewind button. I had given her a call and we talked for over an hour. And I said, hey, we can drive up, and can you think of anywhere that we could go? That would be great. And then we were talking, and then I happened to mention that we were at the school, and she's like, oh, you know what? That's like a good indoor place because you can't count on the weather. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. But then that's making the journey down to us, and I didn't want to put her out or anything. Mm-hmm. But she's like, no, that's no problem. It'll be great to get out of the house. And it was so good. So she arrived with Pistol's dad, and we've never met him. We got a chance to meet him and thank him for all that he did to support Marla when we lost Kuno, and all the support that he and Pistol have been doing with Chesney since. So it's just awesome. Okay. You go ahead.
Yeah. Billy was very excited to see Chesney. He was barking a bit. Not the best manners, but once we were walking them around, then they got to see each other right away. And man, do these two dogs love each other. They played the whole time. Chesney is so fast and tired Bernoulli right out. You can see he's now on the floor. If you're watching live, I've got some pictures up there. And then you, of course, got a cuddle with both of them, which was very cute. And Chesney's big, but she looks small next to Bernoulli because Bernoulli is so big.
Yeah, it was amazing. Now, I'm not going to lie, like Bernoulli has aged out of Waggles and his puppy playdates. And so he hasn't been hanging around with other dogs except for our dogs. And when Beaker just hung around with me and Bunsen during COVID, she became resource protective. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh man, I don't want the same thing to happen with Bernoulli. Mm-hmm. So I said to Marla, I am a little nervous. Like we're going to go into kind of a large space area. And I said, and it's set up like with desks everywhere. She's like, oh, this is perfect because then there's space between them. And then if we need to go back a bit and do a back and forth, I said, oh, that's awesome. But I still was nervous until it was a successful meet and greet, because especially Bernoulli was doing some barking, and Marla was worried that Chesney would be doing some barking.
Chesney was so well behaved. But she has been barking at other dogs when Marla's been going out and about, and it was a new behavior because Kuno's not there, is what Marla attributed it to. Oh, it was so good. They got out, they were playing, they were play bowing, and it just reminded me of what everyone at Waggle said about Bernoulli, is that he can match the dog's energy. If he's playing with a little terrier, he matches their energy. And if they're like a tiny dog, then he bows down to them and plays on their level. Yeah. Like a little Bella, there's little Bella. She's like a Maltese cross. He plays so well with her. And then but he also plays Rottweiler, and he plays German Shepherd, and he plays Doodle. And so he just matches their energy. And one thing I'm very grateful for is that he did not at all try and mount Chesney. Yeah,
there was none of that. That was good, because the next day he was going for his vasectomy. But I was just like, wow, please don't do that. No, and he didn't. He's such a good boy. They played so well.
Yeah, he's not really doing that, which is good. And of course, after I posted about Bernoulli's procedure,
especially on Instagram, I did these carousel cards, and people had a lot of questions. I don't have all the answers because I'm not a vet. But that when to neuter your dog is a personal decision with your family. Yes, you should wait. You should do whatever your vet recommends. And our vet is up to date with some of the stuff. I've been reading the new research that you shouldn't neuter big dogs until they're 2. But that can sometimes be a big problem for some families if the dog has a lot of like testosterone issues. They can get aggressive. They can be quite humpy. They can start urinating everywhere. So some families want to wait that long, but they can't because the bond with your dog is being damaged because of their behavior. And we've just been lucky with Bernoulli. He has none of that. He doesn't show any of that really at all. So we're going to ride it out. And I think he's back at Waggles next week. We can book him in next week, right? Not this week, but the next week, just only because he does have to heal. Yeah. But the healing time is less. Now, hello. Both Beaker and Bunsen are so good in their cones. There's no issues. And in fact, so Bernoulli comes home with a cone and I'm like, oh, this is good. He's going to be fine. Was I wrong? He split it and it was like destroyed and you left for work. You're like, bye, I'm going to work. And I'm looking at Bernoulli and the cone is all smushed and broken. And I said, oh no. So I duct taped it together, and then I came home for lunch because I couldn't handle it. I'm like, he's going to chew that duct tape. It's not going to be good. You know what? I was right. He chewed that duct tape. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to go get Bunsen's cone. Now, how long have we had Bunsen's cone? Since he was neutered, like at 1. Yeah. So he's 7.5. So we've had that 6.5 years. Yeah. Yeah. And it's in pristine condition? No, not anymore. Not anymore. So Bernoulli has destroyed. It's still workable if we watch him. But no, it's not good. Yeah. And so now I was going to buy another cone today, but we do have his Surgisuit and he hasn't worn his Surgisuit all day today because we're home and we can watch him. Yeah. And hopefully it's healing. Yeah. He's not licking. I haven't seen him lick at all today with his cone or Surgisuit off. But when we're not watching him, either he's in a Surgisuit or he's in the duct taped cone. But he comes through like a wrecking ball. Like he just smashes through with that cone. You got to watch out. It really hurts. It hurts the back of your legs. Oh, yeah. And then today he demonstrated how he goes with his cone like a lampshade over Ginger. Yeah. The easiest way to lick Maul the cat is to trap her in the lampshade. Yeah. And I have a little bit of that on video. Oh, you do? That's funny. I do. Yeah. Just a split second of it because he was doing it. And then I got the camera. And then Beaker's like, what are you doing? And she was like the cone police. Yeah. We have some good comments about the onesies are a great option. There's the donut cone. So that's something we might want to look into. I'm always leery about the donut cone because the burners are so strong. They could maybe squish it down, but it's something we can look at for sure. I think we tried it with Bunsen and it didn't go good. He didn't like it. He couldn't sleep in it. He couldn't lay his head flat. Yeah, so we stopped. Where is it then? I don't know. Somewhere. We've lost it. That was years ago. I know. Lost the time. Friday, Bunsen had his appointment, and we talked about that, I think, on last Pet Chat. And they did a bunch of like neurological testing with him. And they think his tippy tapping is not arthritis related. He's got a lot of pain somewhere in his neck or his spine. So it's either some kind of slipped disc, they think, or something a little bit more serious, like something neurological. So we've got him booked in to see a neurologist because they said the next step is to do a MRI or a CAT scan, but MRI or CAT scans look for different things. And because they're not experts, they said you could go to the specialist and the specialist would probably be able to make a better call. And then maybe be able to diagnose it faster than they could even with an MRI or a CAT scan. But Red Deer doesn't have an MRI for dogs, right?
No, they don't.
No.
And so our option is to go down to Calgary and have them have a look at him.
Yeah.
And they'll decide on the spot whether it's a CAT scan or an MRI.
Yeah.
Because they could potentially look for more of the prototype cysts.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, in humans, if you lose a lot of weight quickly, it's hard on your body. And Bunsen, in his chest, like in his cavity there, he potentially had, like, his heart was, the cyst was attached to his aorta and his liver. That's 10 pounds overnight that he lost. And I don't know. I think it's all connected. Like, I know I keep saying that. I do. I keep saying that is you are what you eat from your head to your feet. And if you eat a prototype cyst, then it grows inside you.
Yeah.
It might be pushing on your spine. And I know he was cleared for activity.
Yeah.
And the activity that we do with him in September, what we were doing, or in October, was like just normal dog activity. It's not like we had him climbing mountains again.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that if you think about humans, which are different than dogs, but if you think of like a breast reduction and the back, all that weight, and I'm speaking out of turn because I have no idea, but it's like all of a sudden gone overnight, and it impacts like how you walk and how everything. Bunsen might be going through that, or it could be something more nefarious, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm always wondering about, before it was the prototype cyst, I was wondering if it was like a porcupine quill that went in and is wreaking havoc on some of his musculature, but I don't know. I don't know. And we don't know. And so we're just going to go check it out.
Yeah.
So he's
booked in very soon. So it's not like we're waiting very long at all. So like it's coming up like this week, and then we'll probably have better answers for good or for bad about what's going on with Bunsen. You felt, and I did too, that he was maybe a little bit more tippy-tappy this week after plateauing or even getting better. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it.
She did say maybe to stop doing the therapy. So we never started rehabilitation therapy, but I was massaging his shoulders a little bit when I was petting him and like massaging by his hips, but I don't want to cause more damage.
Yeah, that's what the vet said. She's like, if it's some kind of slip disc or a degenerative thing, you need to know what it is before you start rehab so you don't cause the dog discomfort. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all we know, and we'll keep everybody updated. He was still out in the snow today. It is frigidly cold. I took him out today by himself for about 5 minutes. It was about minus 31, probably colder with the wind. And he was just diving into the snow and doing Bunsen stuff. So that was really good to see. Oh, I should take the Kahoot banner down. I'll put up the Bark and Beyond one. Okay. And no real update on Beaker. Beaker's still just being a good girl. Somebody asked why we don't have a Beaker and Bunsen cam, and that's because I don't know, we don't have a way for them to stay in one spot like Bernoulli, and I don't know if our house could handle 4 things at once. 4 different
internet.
Or internet. I don't know if we could handle 4 internets at once. Yeah,
I don't think we have any more burner phones.
We have one. We could set up one more. The actual burner.
On what?
On your actual burner phone.
No, because I have to be on Twitter on this phone.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So we're
maybe on my iPad.
Yeah, we're out of ability. Yeah, the iPad, but you'd have to have a stand for it. Anyways.
Well, give the people what they want, Jason.
If it works today, I can take this and just go upstairs and show everybody Bunsen and Beaker. They're probably just sleeping. All right. Hey, I'm all out of stories. Chris, do you have anything? Should we go to community sharing and answering questions?
I was going to talk about the dew clause.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
And that was to do with Bernoulli.
Yeah.
This is very funny, but not funny. I thought the vet clinic opened at 7, that we could do our drop off at 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
That was wrong. I have a workout at 7:30. And I was like, here I am. 7 o'clock has come and went. The lights are dark. There's no lights on. 7:10 has come and gone.
7:15 has come and gone. And I have a workout at 7:30. And so then I looked on Google, and Google told me that they open at 7:30. And so I texted Jason. I said, fun fact, they open at 7:30, and here I am early and they're not open. And Jason said, I can't come in and spell you off, because by the time he got there, it would have already been 7:30. Anyway, so I texted my trainer and I said, I'm going to be late. So sorry. But anyway, so now I'm in there and I'm dropping off Bernoulli, and he weighs like as much as Bunsen.
Yep.
And he's like such a good boy. And then she said, okay, we're doing this. I'm like, yep. Do blood work? Sure. Do all this other stuff? Great. And then she said, would you like to remove his dew claws? And I said, I don't know. I need to text Jason. And I texted you, and she's like, yeah, we do recommend it, because like they get caught on anything, they can get infected. Da, 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 da. And then I'm like, and then you had texted back and said, no, that you actually liked them, that you play with his dew claws.
I love his little dew claws.
And you're like, they're a part of him.
Yep.
And so I said, we're not taking them off. We're going to leave his dew claws. If they become a problem, then we can revisit that later. It didn't have to get done that day, which is probably good, because he would then need a cone for longer, and it would just been a gong show with him and his cone, because he'd be like, yang, 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 eating his feet. Anyway, that was that story.
I'm trying to keep Bernoulli on the Bernoulli cam, but he's moving around.
Yeah. Weird. He's a dog.
Yeah.
He's not.
And my new phone is so heavy, it easily falls out of the stand clamp, so it fell on the floor. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm glad we didn't remove his dew claws. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be that big of a problem.
You said Bunsen still has his, but I can't see Bunsen's.
Oh. I don't think they took away his dew claws. I just remember when Bernoulli was a little puppy, they were just like this little nub thing that he would grab with his paws, and I didn't want them to be removed. So, yeah. Okay, should we go to community sharing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think Jamie is up. Jamie is good to go. So we'll go to Jamie, who's speaking on Twitter.
Good morning, everyone. It's 11:30 on Sunday, the 2nd of February, in the future.
Yes, in the future. And I hear it's warm there.
No, it's not. It's not here. Sorry. It has been raining every day for the last week. We've had probably half a metre by now in the last 2 days of rain. So more than 500 mils.
Washed away.
Because I live on top of a hill.
Okay. That's the word to be.
That's it. And really strong wind gusts. So it's not a cyclone, but it may as well be. It's just taking longer about it. We're really good here because we're on top of a hill. But areas in town, like, they're evacuating people at the moment. And they're saying that some houses, second-story houses, will get flooded. That's how much water there is in town at the moment. Yes, we're nice and dry out here, and the dogs are just going stir-crazy because they're inside. But I put a video in the chat of Rosie and Tennessee having their post-breakfast play. And Tennessee's amazing. Her back legs are so strong. She just like levitates onto the couch. She stands beside it and then she's on top of it. She didn't jump at all. She's just whee, onto the couch. It's like a snow day here. It's a rain day, and the schools are closed tomorrow. And I'd say I won't be going to work tomorrow because it's also very wet.
I'm glad you haven't washed away yet.
No. And things like potholes opening up in the road. And the one I saw yesterday, I haven't done my run yet today. The one I saw yesterday was 3 meters in diameter and half a meter deep. You don't want to drive it. That's it. You don't want to drive your car into that one because you'd lose it. But we've got at least another day of this rain. So that's where we are. And it's not hot. It's about 20 degrees, which for us in February is pretty cold. So I'm actually back in bed with the blanket on.
Could you, if you don't mind, where again in Australia are you? I forget. I'm sorry.
So, no, that's all right. So we live in Townsville. So when you look at Australia, the pointy bit on the right-hand side, we're like on the coast, but at sort of at the bottom of the pointy bit. The Gulf of Carpentaria area is the scoop beside the pointy bit. Mm-hmm. Very technical terms here. And was in about the same line, just below the bottom of the Gulf of Carpentaria. And if anybody looks at the radar, I'll put a picture of the radar up at the moment. It's piddling down over most of North Queensland. So.
Okay. Chris will throw that up in the nest, I think. She's already got it, or?
Yeah, I've got some of the posts that you've done.
Yeah, so I'll put up the radar, the rain radar, so you can see how widespread it is. Because it's covering a fair amount of the coast at the moment. Mm-hmm.
And for people who aren't on Twitter, when we say the nest, there's this place you can put tweets that's up above on the audio. You'll just have to pretend you can see it if you're watching on live. I might share the screen with my Twitter so people can see it in a second here.
So with the radar picture, the reds and yellows are more heavy rain. Mm-hmm. So some areas have had more than 700 mils of rain in the last 24 hours.
Holy man, that's a lot of rain.
It is a lot of rain. And the scary thing for people in town is the spaces that are getting flooded now are the same ones that flooded really badly 6 years ago. Exactly 6 years ago. And, yeah, people were out of their homes for months and months because of so much damage.
Oh man, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. That's always the worst when there's people have people have to evacuate kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's us. The dogs are good. I hope the chooks are good because the chooks are stuck down there in their yard in the rain. But they do have roofs, but yeah, it'll just be sloppy and horrible for them. But thank you, and everyone take care, and good luck for Sectanuli.
Right now he is licking the wall and hitting the wall. I might have to do something else here, Chris. We'll go to, thanks, Jamie. We'll go to Dr. Tracy and then to Rich, a.k.a. Baden. Hi, Dr. Tracy.
Hi, everybody.
Good to hear ya. Good to hear from you.
Oh, yeah, I haven't talked in a long time. Nothing's happened. I have 3 dogs. They're all large dogs, and I live in the woods. So we have air tags on each dog so that if they happen to get out, we can find them more easily because we have bears and bobcats and coyotes and things like that. Yeah. And so we have one of our dogs is a treeing walker coonhound. And if anyone has a coonhound, they're just crazy, absolutely crazy dogs. And she really loved getting out of the yard. And it's a big yard. We have over half an acre for them to run in and play in. And they chase squirrels and chipmunks. And so the Apple AirTag was really handy to find where she was when she'd get out. And then one day she lost her collar. And we looked all over the yard and couldn't find it. So we thought, probably a crow took it or something. And so I used the Find My app on my phone, and it said it was 600 feet away. So I went 600 feet to a tree, and it said it was in the tree. And it was, it is a hollow tree. And so we thought,
Oh.
it's inside the tree. And I got a flashlight, couldn't find it anywhere, felt in there. And no matter how many times I tried, the app kept saying that's where the air tag was. So that was about 8 or 9 months ago. Today, my husband was in his workshop, which is a detached garage about 50 feet from the house. And he moved some lumber, and there was her collar with the air tag on it, on the floor, between two pieces of wood. So she must have gotten her head caught, chased a mouse or a chipmunk or something, and pulled her collar off. And so it's been there all this time, but the app for the air tag said it was 600 feet away. So if you have air tags for your animals, they're not always completely accurate. Now it says she's right here with me, both her new air tag and her old air tag. So both Trudy 1 and Trudy 2 are here with me, even though there's only one Trudy.
Oh,
there they are.
Yeah, I was distracted for a second there. Jason's put them.
Jason just put it up, and both Beaker and Bunsen are there. Oh,
yeah, and Bernoulli too.
He's gonna knock over the camera with his cone, guaranteed.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Have you ever tried one of those big inflatable collars?
We should probably try it with Bernoulli, but I seem to remember we tried it with Bunsen and he didn't like it. So
yeah, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. That's all. Just wanted to tell you, be careful if you have an air tag on your dog.
Chris will have to fill me in, Tracy. I was running up and down organizing the dogs, but I so appreciate you coming to share your story.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
What's Beaker doing? Beaker's very curious about the camera. Oh.
How do you have it so that they're there? How did you block it off?
I've squished them into the entranceway, and I've put the camera where there's lots of bright light. And I guess that's just what they're doing right now. So people get to see.
But how did you squish them there? Where is the bench?
Yeah,
where's the bench?
The bench is there. I hope. I don't think Bernoulli's going to get into anything because he can't. There he is. So he's just going to wander around. It is what it is.
So Jason went to brush his teeth, and in the time that Jason went to brush his teeth, Bernoulli destroyed a little bag that I had, and it is like from Easter time, like that shredded paper that you use like in your Easter baskets. Yeah. And so I had a plastic bag of shredded paper, and Jason wasn't watching Bernoulli. I went to brush my teeth, and I said, that's when Bernoulli's going to get into things. Yeah. You have to watch him consistently and constantly because he's not as good as Beaker and Bernoulli are, or Beaker and Bunsen were.
No.
As puppies, like he's into everything. Oh, toilet paper. Oh yeah. This crazy shredded paper. Yes, please. And so then you said to me, how come there was this paper in our room? And I said, I countered that with how come you weren't watching Bernoulli like a hawk?
I was brushing my teeth.
Yeah. I said, you have to take him into the bathroom with you.
Oh.
That's what I do. Constant supervision.
Yeah. People on live said they saw Ginger slink underneath the gate, so that's funny.
Yeah, she came down here.
Oh, she did? Okay. There we go. They're all going to lay down together.
Yay.
All right. That's a fun development. We'll go to, who's next? Rich on Twitter? Yeah. Rich. Hey, congratulations, Rich, on the second place on Kahoot. Well done.
Thank you.
And Baden's birthday, 10th birthday.
Baden had a birthday. Yeah. I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, he turned 10. It's a little chilly here. Not as chilly as you guys. We're only at minus 12, I think it was.
Ooh, that's shorts weather.
Yes. I'm not wearing shorts because I'm old and cranky, and I'd love to know how my Scots ancestors wore kilts in such cold weather, but that's a whole other thing. So, yes, he was 10 years old, and we were out for a walk today, and he's acting like he's 10 months old and absolutely an idiot. It's great. I love it.
That's so good to have an older dog that's still got a spring in their step.
We had about, gotta love Canada. I do temperatures in Celsius, and I do snow in inches.
Yeah.
We had about 3 inches of snow down, so we were moving it off the driveway, and we had him outside with us, and he was doing zoomies in circles.
Aw.
Oh, that's cute. I love that.
Yeah. No, he's he lives up to his nickname as the chocolate goofball, but he's absolutely exhausted now. Another thing that was really cool is our it's actually a cat toy, but anyway, he grabbed it and he let my granddaughter grab hold of the other end of it. It's just a little stuffed toy. And he was ever so gently playing tug of war. And she was actually leading him around the house by it. He was just happily coming along behind her. It's really cool to see. It's just, he's so good with her. It's amazing how good he is with her.
That's awesome.
And, that's better. You zoomed in on the Bernoulli cam.
Yeah, I got rid of Chris and I. Some people on Instagram were, I think it's smushed on Instagram because it shows it portrait. And where I have it in landscape, because I tried it that one time and everybody who was watching on a computer hated it. So I went back. But anyways.
Yeah, the other thing is, and this is for all our Canadian friends, is that Tim Hortons, and I believe it's still going on tomorrow, is they're selling Special Olympic donuts, and all proceeds from the donuts go to support Special Olympics in your area.
Nice.
And as many of your regular listeners will know, my daughter is a Special Olympian. She has medals coming out the yin yang. Okay, maybe that's not suitable for family time, but she's got lots of medals. It's a really great organization. And if you can find it, and the donuts are actually pretty good too. Probably 10 million calories, but it's so friggin' cold across most of Canada. You need all those calories to stay warm.
Awesome.
That's right.
Actually, I just put a picture of her and one of her teammates and our local staff sergeant with the RCMP. They were up at our local Timmy's. They were making donuts. They actually made some of the donuts, and we were talking to people about Special Olympics and all that sort of thing. And I normally don't try to take over your sponsors, but what Tim Hortons does is just, I think, so important for the community.
I love that. We'll have to.
Yeah, I love that too. I tried to get one the other day, and I said hi, and I was getting coffee, and I said I'd like, because they had the advertised. They had the donut there, and I'm like, can I please have a Special Olympic donut? Yeah. And they're like, no, it doesn't start until the 31st. And I said, oh, why do you have it advertised? But then it was fine. I just went away with my coffee. And then I'm like, I'll come back. That's how they get you. They advertise it, you want it, and then they don't have it, and then you have to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. They're marketers, right? They know how to get people in.
Yeah, I love the smile. The smile cookies is always big because, of course, Chris and I are teachers. Yeah. So we always try and get some smile cookies. They're actually really yummy. They're delicious. They're a problem, actually, because you can pack back 2 or 3 of those and you don't even know what's happened. We'll make sure we get at least one of those donuts tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, I think it ends tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. So you'll have to emerge into the cold weather and go get one. And just a question, if I may, if I'm not taking up too much time. What is I know the obvious differences between neutering and Bernoulliectomy, but it's just been so much fun with that. You guys have done really well, and I'll be good, and I won't tell the story that I put on Twitter. I don't know if you read it or not, but it's what happened to me. Just dig through my timeline, you'll find it. Okay. But behavior-wise, what's the difference? What difference does the neutering versus vasectomy make? Or am I asking the wrong person?
No. So the research shows very little. So the vasectomy is like for a dog that isn't potentially having all of those male testosterone behaviors. And it in some places it allows the dog to go where they're not normally allowed to go if they're not quote unquote neutered. So it's like an in-between. If you full on neuter your dog, remove the testicles, they're not going to have that testosterone. So you're going to have some behavior changes potentially. Whereas with a vasectomy, the sperm doesn't get out. So they can't.
I'm familiar with the vasectomy, trust me.
Yeah. But just to make a long story short, generally there's no change in their behavior from an intact to a vasectomy. But anecdotally, some people see a little bit less testosterone issues. That's just anecdotally. Jamie, you got your hand up?
Rich, when we had our dog vasectomized 40 years ago, his behavior didn't change at all.
Yeah.
His litter sister was still intact. She came into season. His behavior didn't change at all, and he still did everything a boy dog does with a girl dog.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks nonstop until they were both lying on the floor exhausted. It's funny because he was nagging, like for the first 3 days, he's nagging at her going, come on, and she's going, go away. And then for a week in the middle, they're both at the same level of enthusiasm. And then for the 3 days after that, she's nagging at him going, come on, and he's going,
oh my goodness.
Oh, dude.
Jamie has a word for it. What was it? Going hammer? What did you say?
Going at it hammer and tongs.
Hammer and tongs. Yeah. Going
hammer
at
and tongs,
it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean to insult our Australian cousins, but that's a very English expression. I heard it from my parents all the time.
Absolutely. Canada and Australia, we are both the colonies.
Yeah. You ended up with better climate, but nastier critters.
Oh, they're not nasty. Not nasty at all.
Everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I did put a picture of a local crocodile in the chat too. He's a big boy, that one.
Actually, I almost ended up in Australia when my mom and dad came over from the UK. One of his options was to do his national service with the Australian Navy, but they didn't need any doctors at the time, so we ended up here.
Oh, okay. There you go. It would have been nice, but you've ended up there instead.
Yeah, I have no complaints. You have better neighbors.
Ooh. Ouch town.
Sorry. I'll behave now.
Okay.
Thanks, Rich. I appreciate you sharing your story, and I'm so glad that Baden's still going strong at 10. That's awesome. Very heartwarming. Love it. We have some people in the chat saying, Jamie's story makes me laugh. Sounds like the canine version of Bridgerton. I don't know much about Bridgerton. Chris, do you know anything about Bridgerton?
No, just that it's very popular.
I think it's scandalous. There's some scandals that happen in Bridgerton. So
it would be right up my alley because of the gossip, and I like all the drama.
You do. You love the drama llama. That's true. Okay, so I've gone through the chat. I think I've answered all of the questions. I'm just going to take the Bernoulli cam off solo. So we're back on, Chris.
Okay, Jamie has her hand up.
Oh.
Again, sorry, I've got the chatters today. Somebody commented about Bernoulli and his cone taking about the same amount of time as bananas ripening. We did the grocery shopping this week and we bought 2 bunches of bananas and whatever other vegetables and fruit that we needed. And we bring all the bags inside, and we usually have the dogs downstairs so they don't help with putting all the shopping away. And then they get let back.
Quotation marks.
Yeah, yes. They got let back inside, and then the next day I'm looking for some bananas. I could not find the bananas anywhere. And my husband sends me a message at work saying, where are the bananas? And I said, I don't know. Are they here? and we couldn't find them anywhere. We searched for 2 or 3 days. And then on Friday, I walked around the yard and I found what was left of the bananas.
Oh, no.
And it was just the banana peels and the little sticky stumps beside a big sweet potato that they obviously didn't like, but 2 bunches of bananas got dogged. We didn't get any rat bags.
Sorry
but
about
yes.
the bananas. That's like my blueberry,
well,
kind of like my blueberries.
Exactly like your blueberries. River is obsessed with bananas. He loves them. He loves them to bits. So yes, banana dogs.
If you recall, we had a blueberry incident in our house too.
I saw that, and then
Yeah,
also
I saw that too.
We Rate Dogs had we actually follow this little burner on Instagram, Chris. His name's Duncan, the little burner. So one of the latest posts of We Rate Dogs was they were giving this little guy a blueberry and he liked it. And the little puppy barked for another blueberry. So we got tagged a million times. And of course, because everybody loves the blueberry story. And that's what our account is associated with when there's blueberries.
Yeah. Little Duncan was eating a cherry today.
I know. He's very cute.
I didn't want to say, but aren't cherries not good for dogs? I didn't think so.
They probably shouldn't have currants. Yeah. So I don't know. Was it
A cherry, yeah. I thought it was like pitted things that aren't good.
Yeah. I just Googled it quick. They can eat cherries are fine. You just have to remove the pits. Yeah. I think it's other things that they can't eat.
Dates.
Yeah.
Currant.
Raisins, grapes.
It's raisins. Yeah.
Garlic.
And the grapes.
Yeah. Onions, not great for dogs.
And aloe vera, the aloe vera plant, not good.
Yeah. So cherries are good. Yep. All right. We're at the top of the hour. I think we should wrap up.
Sure. I'm just looking here. There's no other speakers or speaker requests.
No.
Look at the goodest boy.
The setup.
The Bunson's the goodest boy, and then Bernoulli is just there with his cone on, and Beaker is just there too.
Yeah, Bunson's a good boy. Always a good boy.
Always so good. Look at him.
Yeah, he's so cute. Beaker moves around a lot.
Mm-hmm. I watch them on the Furbo. I creep them all day. I creep our dogs all day. I should be teaching, but
yeah, I
am teaching. And on my breaks, I creep the dogs.
We have that new Eye of Sauron camera, which I hate because it follows you around with its AI. I hate it. It's like...
No, you love it.
Super creepy because I don't know if it's AI or you're watching me silently somewhere. Because you do that sometimes. You make the little eye follow me around the house.
No.
All right. Should we do draw for Bark and Beyond?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're watching live, drop a comment so we know that you're here. Drop a comment so we know you're here if you're watching live. We don't know. You're just a number. Like I've got numbers from StreamYard and I have to hop back to the Instagram live thing. I don't know who's here. Drop a comment so you can be part of the draw.
But 37 are here on X.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like over 1,000 on StreamYard. So that's just people have come in and gone. We don't have 1,000 people, I don't think, congruently.
But it's very exciting to see Bunsen, Beaker, and Bernoulli.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should try that next week without having Bernoulli down here. Look at Bunsen wagging his tail.
Maybe.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. Can they hear us?
I don't know.
Through your phone?
I think. Maybe. Let's see. Bunsen. Good boy. No, Bernoulli's just barking at random things. Okay. So we're waiting for people to put in some comments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And how many people on Twitter, Chris?
36 now, but do 34 because I apparently can't win.
Okay. No, you cannot win. 36, 50. Oof. Random number 50. Okay, so if we're over 34, somebody wins not on Twitter. 9. Okay, I did roll a 9. That's the number 9 wins. Oh, for transparency, I should share my screen just so people can see. So I just use random number. It's random number 9. There we go. Okay, so 9 on Twitter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's Steve. Steve Mansberger. Congratulations.
Okay, Steve has won 3 times.
Has he? I rolled the 9. That's what it is.
I'm pretty sure he donates it back.
But
maybe not this time, so I'm not sure.
I rolled the 9.
I don't want to speak for Steve.
He is the 9th person in the list. That's just how it goes. Congratulations. Woohoo.
Steve's come up to speak. Hi, Steve.
Oh.
Hi. Yeah. Why don't you either roll again, or we can do something like have Bark and Beyond donate it to a shelter or something like that.
You know what? Let's do that. Are you okay with that, Steve? Let's have Bark and Beyond do a donation.
That is perfectly fine with me.
Some dog owner will really appreciate that, or cat owner. Steve, thanks for being very generous with your prize.
No problem.
And you're also so fast at the Kahoot in the chat. I don't even know how you do it so quickly. You're like Chesney, and you're like Baz Deferens, and I'm like, how is Steve doing this so quickly?
That's apparently the only time that I can type fast, especially on my phone.
It's awesome.
Is Ginger with you, Chris?
She was. I'll go look for her quick.
Okay. Just people are asking if they could see Ginger real quick before we shut down. All right, we got some nice comments for Steve for donating his prize. That's awesome. All right, I don't know what Bernoulli's barking about. He's barking. He's just randomly barking. Beaker's shut up. She's looking back at him. What are you doing? So as we wrap up today, just a couple news items. Normally we talk about some of our upcoming products or things that we're really excited about. And not to be too much of a downer to end with a downer, but Chris and I have decided to put all of our new products indefinitely on hold. We don't know what's happening with the tariffs, which are very unfortunate and extremely frustrating for our country. So that's just our little 2 cents there. But it is definitely put everything that we do on hold for the foreseeable future. So I just thought if you're like wondering about the stuff that we're doing, that stopped. And Chris has Ginger, so that's good. Like a fun thing with my sad news. There's too much uncertainty for us to move forward with any of our stuff. So just a heads up there. If you're wondering, hey, then they talked about a thing, and yeah, we did, but we'll just have to wait and see. It might be a couple months before we can give anybody information about that. Okay. All right. Chris, thanks for showing Ginger. That was really cute. I'm sure people were really happy.
She was so comfortable on the futon. I felt really badly about picking her up. She was like, I'm like, hi, Ginger. And she meowed and she laid on her back. And then I scooped her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Time to wrap up.
Did you say hi to Indra?
No. Hi, Indra. So Indra's listening. Indra's our partner with Stuff on Spaces. Indra runs really good shows occasionally on positivity. Check out her stuff. If you're looking for something positive to follow, Indra's a good follow. Good to see Indra.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully it warms up a bit. We're in a bit of a deep freeze, and sadly Bunsen is on low activity and Bernoulli is healing, so we haven't been able to go out in the snow. I saw the drifts are calling. I looked out our the canyon or the coulee that we live on top of, and I just so want to go explore those drifts with the dogs, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
Bernoulli needs 2 weeks. Jason.
I know, he needs 2 weeks.
I know. I am like the fun sponge when it comes to pushing the dogs to do things. I'm like, no. And you're like, oh, it's fine. And I'm like, no. Yeah. I just say no. I
wouldn't take Bunsen. I would take Beaker and Bernoulli. They'd be fine.
Just Beaker.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just take Beaker in her snow pants. That'll be cute.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Yeah. I've gone on walks with her by myself before. It's cute having that one-on-one time with Beaker because she's a bit of the middle child and she's so good. And I don't think she gets enough credit sometimes.
No.
All right, we'll see everybody next week.